Tonight on Let It Rip, the day before the NFL draft, but some say the key to the Lions' future, suspended for 6 games. Does that mess up the Lions' strategy? Does that mess up a career? But first,
it's really going to be time for counties to stand up and defend the rights of citizens.
All of these initiatives are supported by a majority of Michiganders.
A local sheriff says he won't enforce the new red flag laws. Can a local politician just do what he wants to do if he doesn't like the law? 2 Let It Rip pros weigh in. Let It Rip starts right now. Time now to Let It Rip. We've got a lot to cover in the world of politics. Detroit City Councilmember Coleman Young II and Macomb County Prosecutor Pete Lucido ready to weigh in on a lot of topics. First of all, it's good to have you guys both back.
Great to be back, Charlie.
Good to see you, Charlie. Look like new money, my man. Always good to see you. Look like a brand new baby. Good to see you.
Thank you. Let's start with this. Livingston Board, county commissioners, they say they're not going to enforce the red flag laws. The governor is about to sign the red flag laws. Basically, they would allow the police to take guns away from people that are deemed to be a threat to themselves or others. Coleman Young, let me start with you. What is the difference? Because they don't want to enforce the law. What's the difference between this and the abortion law when Dana Nessel came out and said, I'm not going to enforce that law?
Well, first of all, one, good to see you again. Secondly, let me say, here's the thing. There's a big difference between carrying an instrument of death and whether or not someone wants to have the right to choose. I think this is a hypothetical. At the end of the day, the people already voted. They want the right to choose. They don't want the government underneath women or individuals' clothes. And I think that this is something that we should respect. And at the end of the day, the people voted to elect Democrats to govern and for us to get gun control in the state of Michigan. Too many of our children are dying.
I understand the issues, but isn't this a rule of law question? We have a pecking order, stay in your lane, legislature makes a law. Right.
Well, as Democrats, we believe in the rule of law, and we do what we're supposed to do. We won the election, and now we're governing and changing the law.
It's the first time I've heard that, but be that as it may, as a prosecutor, the police do the investigation, and these orders are tantamount to giving a PPO. The police don't serve the PPO. They don't serve PPOs.
Yeah, but that's a cop-out, though, isn't it?
But no, wait a minute.
Are you going to enforce laws that you don't like?
The protocol, no, I will not. If it's on the books as a legislator, otherwise the taxpayers wasted their money sending legislators to Lansing to make laws and signed into law.
So you disagree with Livingston County then?
Well, I tell you right now, is it a issue of finance? Do they not have the money? Do they not know the protocol?
They don't like the law. They don't like the law.
I guess they are going to do, that sheriff is going to do what he's going to do in his county, and if it's supported by his taxpayers, okay.
So they don't need to. So Coleman Young is right. They don't need to enforce the law.
I think that they're going to have to.
Well, they do need to enforce.
But they do need to enforce the law. But let me ask you, what's the difference between discretion and a hard no?
Okay.
Anything?
If the law is on the books, there's a duty, because it hasn't been signed yet, Charlie, and it doesn't go into effect until next year, January. But if the law is on the books, we have an absolute duty as prosecutors to enforce the law. The judges have the same duty, like we all know they're supposed to have. You're a lawyer, I'm a lawyer.
Right.
But look, bottom line is it's passed, it's going to be signed, it's going to go into law. Counties and cities are creatures of states. They are agents of the state. They need to enforce the law when it comes to effect.
All right, let me just go into another topic over here. I want to talk about this. There's a distracted driving bill making its way through the legislature, basically banning handheld cell phones. And it didn't get out of the House in part because a lot of people say, some people say anyway, that it is disproportionately affecting African Americans. Is there any legitimate seat to that? Coleman, yeah, go ahead.
As the African American in the panel,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Not to speak for all black people here. Absolutely. I think that there is African Americans in the country about 3 times more likely to be pulled over. I think by Michigan State Police is about 27% versus a smaller percentage for white people. So there is a lot of truth to that. And I think the fact that you're just outright banning it, we already have the issue with Terry stops. We already have the issue of people being pulled over for less than probable cause by the police department. I just think this is something that would add to that. I would not support that at all.
I think the legislature, if you have statistical data and not talk with closed eyes, talk with open eyes and feel how many deaths did it prevent. And if there's a need, we've given away all this money anyways, all this pork all over the place. Let people pick them up as a part of a
Do
benefit.
you
if it's
think
gonna
there's any
save
merit to
lives.
the fact that more African Americans would be affected by this law than white people?
Statistically, I have no data. It's an empirical
But assuming
data.
that's the case, is that bad? Is that a bad law?
I'm not going to guess. I don't have a crystal ball, but I do know this. If there's a law that's on the books, this isn't passed yet. When is it going to pass? When there's enough deaths in this country that they say it's got to be this way. They may make phones that actually, like they sync the cars right now, where they don't have to buy any apparatuses.
Well, there's also
Well, I think that's a false equivalency, and quite frankly, I think that's a false choice. I mean, you
I'd
can
rather
do
save.
both.
I'd rather save somebody, Charlie. I'd rather save somebody. It doesn't matter what color either.
Go ahead. Still talking.
Go ahead.
Appreciate you. Good looking out.
Yeah.
I would like to say, first and foremost, that there's a lot of statistics out there about African Americans who are being pulled over by Michigan State Police nationally, are more times more likely to be pulled over, more times likely to be arrested. Black children are 7 times more likely to be killed by police officers. So
what's
there's
the
a lot of
solution?
data.
So
I really think, one, we need to make sure that we make more investment in terms of traffic enforcement. I think that's something that's absolutely critical.
How do you do that without stopping somebody when they broke the law?
I said more investment. That means more money going towards more people who are on the street enforcing the laws, making sure that people are safe when they are driving. I think these are some of the things that we could be doing in order to have more safety on the road. I don't think that banning being on the phone altogether, I don't think that's going to keep people safe. I think it's going to lead to more low-level arrests.
Pete Lucido.
I've had the traffic safety studies. I've had the chiefs of police in. Most of the accidents that are killing black, white, yellow, brown has been because of distracted driving. It has really crippled our society.
Are you okay with the enforcement? I mean, there's a lot of police. They were doing ghost rider up today in Macomb County, by the way.
Absolutely. I saw a lot of enforcement because if somebody's so distracted it's going to take my life or Coleman Young's life, your life, why wouldn't I stand up for those that are going to be affected?
But you can have traffic enforcement without banning people being on the cell phone. I think those are just two totally different things. You can be safe and not have this law that's going to discriminate against black people, and I think more likely lead to more low-level offense. That's a false choice. It's like we're protecting lives, but then we're giving people who are systemically being harmed disproportionately by racism.
Maybe we'll put it on the ballot.
More records.
We put everything on the ballot anyways. We'll put this one on.
Let's talk
And Democrats will win.
All right, let's talk about, speaking of Democrats winning or not winning, President Biden announced that he is running again. I don't think that's a big shock to anybody. Pete Lucido, President Trump also, it looks like he is running a rematch. Now, the question, I guess, is Macomb County going to be as in favor of Donald Trump than they were perhaps a couple of years ago?
I can't say with certainty who else is going to be individuals that are going to be in this before the filing deadline. Coleman can't say with certainty who other Democrats are not going to be in it before the filing deadline.
Are you saying, though, that are you open to having someone else be the Republican
Absolutely.
nominee?
Here's why. I want the very best Republican or Democrat, and whoever comes through, whoever comes through that primary, that's the party we support.
So just so I'm clear, Trump is not necessarily the very best. There may be someone else out there.
You darn right, and here's why.
Should he run again, Trump?
All candidates should have the opportunity to be involved with the electoral process.
Should Trump run?
That's his choice, not mine.
But Macomb County
I
is
think
Trump
what
country.
you want to do is dialogue in a different direction. It's this. Everybody has a right to buy a seat at the table.
Let me ask Coleman. Yeah.
Please.
All right, let's get Joe Biden, though. A lot of Democrats, and polls have been out there, they're not really enthusiastic.
Right.
Are you enthusiastic about Joe Biden?
I'm totally enthusiastic about it. Look, this election is going to come down to two things. It's going to come down to inflation, which I think right now is trending, is going, the trajectory is going in the right direction. I also think it's come down to the right to choose and women's and individuals' right for choose. I think that if we can advocate like he's been for that issue and deal with the inflation issue, I think it's going to look good. I'm very excited about it. I think, and let me just say this: I think it's clear who the best person is running for president, and that's Joe Biden.
Well, wait a minute,
forward to
Charlie.
re-election. That's if Trump doesn't get indicted in the first place.
Again, we're talking about statistical data. My gas prices have been the highest. My food prices have been the highest. Families can't even afford to go to the grocery store and eat Cheerios. And at the end of the day, I'm going to be honest with you, Coleman.
That's true.
Those rates of interest keep jumping like this, and my daughter's getting married and going to buy a house. I don't know if she's going to be able to afford it. all of us want the same thing.
true.
A society that's going to take care of the people.
Well, there is a point there.
Look, there's room for improvement. I will admit that, what he's saying. But it's trending in the right direction. We're going downwards. We're going in the right direction. We are slowly starting to recover from this. I think the jobs market has been high. We had one of the lowest unemployment rates in over 50 years. So I think once we get inflation under control, but I think the problem with the Republicans is the issue of the pro-choice issue. I think that's what really killed them in the
killed them in the last
ballot
election, for sure.
and across the country.
Let me ask you
that's
this.
why the red wave is the red
Let's
puddle.
not,
We'll get
let's
to the
not
abortion.
revisit
That's a
something
real
that's
issue.
already been resolved.
Could Joe Biden, what could he do better for the city of Detroit?
Well, I think what he could do better for the city of Detroit right now is what I said. One, you got to focus on inflation. I think that's something that's critical. I think two, we got to make sure that we have more investment federally in the state of Michigan, and particularly in the city of Detroit. And thirdly, if I could say, I would have liked to see the Michigan Democratic Party host a national convention in the city.
Oh, yeah.
of Detroit.
I have no objection.
I think that was
You don't disagree. That's a great thing.
He
You
You would take the Republican convention in the city of Detroit, wouldn't you?
If I had to.
You had to. You
But
would.
how often has Joe Biden visited the city of Detroit? How often has How often is your vice president? And that's a good point.
Go ahead.
Because if this state is the state that makes it or breaks it for a president, I didn't hear you, Mr. Biden. Did you forget about us?
He also needs to invest more in education. I also think he needs to invest more in mass transit.
there's room for
I think
improvement.
that's something that's big. But also, let me just say this. How many times has Donald Trump or any Republican visit Detroit?
He was
Maybe
He didn't
no,
get many votes in
Ronald
Detroit
Reagan
either.
was alive.
How many times did he visit Macomb County?
Yeah, that's a different story.
When's the last time he's visited Detroit?
Donald Trump, I don't know that he
Like once.
has. Maybe once. I think
One
I remember
time.
once. But then going back, you mentioned the abortion issue. Don't Democrats want to keep this abortion at the abortion pill now? Because a lot of people will vote Democrat.
No.
The
That's a kiss
opening
of death for
statement
Republicans.
by my friend was the abortion issue and choice and all this. It's over. The people have spoken.
Well, they're going to perpetuate it, I think.
No,
Wait.
No.
What's the purpose of perpetuating? To
Because-
drive the
because-
vote out? To
No.
drive a vote out? It's already there. It's now the
it's
repeal
not.
of the
It's
law.
not over, though. What about the
It's not
abortion
over
pill?
there.
You've got
No,
states in
we're-
other parts of the country. They're banning
Right.
abortion after 6 weeks. Is that legit?
Rob, I'll just get ready
First
to
of
say
all, that pill issue.
Yeah.
It's a judge. A judge made the decision. The people didn't.
that should be a woman's decision, an
But
individual.
isn't the
birthing
talk?
people's
Here's the point,
decision.
though. The talk about abortion, it's death for Republicans, isn't it?
Yeah.
Most of the world.
70% of favorability.
It drove out Democrats.
Look what happened. It
did. It did.
And it drove out
Democrats.
You can't deny it.
All right, listen, I only have about a minute or so left, okay? Give me one issue that you guys can agree on. What are you guys working together regional? You're both from big areas of this area. What's a regional? What do we need regionally to be successful? Go ahead, All right,
Coleman, open it up.
Either one.
Oh, I'm telling you, what we need is essentially regional. I
Yeah.
think one, we need to make sure we have mass transit. I think that's something that's very important. Two, childcare. But in terms of things, I don't think we're going to agree on anything. So one thing I think we agree on.
No, that's not
I love,
true.
Real
I
quick,
love
real
people
quick.
seeing
I
it.
love you
All right,
too.
go ahead, real
We'll agree on that.
But the
We're not
reality
gonna agree on
is,
anything politically.
I think both of us want the best for who we serve, and that's the people of this.
But how do you get there? That's what
Lucido, Coleman Young, you guys are great. Thank you so much. All right, one of the Detroit Lions' young weapons about to miss a chunk of his second season because he was suspended for gambling. Will the Lions draft strategy change? We are going to talk to a guy that knows, Braylon Edwards. Coming up next. Don't go away. Hey, we're back now on Let It Rip. Well, with the Lions drafting twice in the first round tomorrow, a lot of questions about if their strategies will change after wide receiver Jameson Williams suspended for violating the league's gambling policy. Does that mess up his career? Does it mess up the Lions? Former Michigan Wolverine NFL player, he knows, Braylon Edwards is here.
Charlie,
good to see you. Good.
Charlie Langston, how you doing?
You're looking
man?
good.
You're looking better.
Well,
Before I get going, you know who told me to tell you hello.
Is your mother.
My mom
so
told me to tell you
I,
that.
people don't. I
tell 'em.
knew your mother way before I ever met you. Your mother worked in the Cadillac Building downtown.
Correct.
She had an art gallery.
Exactly.
And it was also the same place where I tried cases.
Because you actually a lawyer, right?
I'm a real. That's my real.
Allegedly.
That's my real job. That's my real job. But I would go and I would talk to your mother pretty much every day,
Yeah.
and she would say, when you were in U of M, she would invite you guys over for food, and she was telling about how much you guys ate so much.
Young guys, man, they eat a lot. You got to think a lot of guys that come to University of Michigan or these big schools, they're not from here. They're from California and Texas and Oklahoma and all out Ohio or wherever. So, you know, in the spring, summer, a lot of times they don't get to go home. They don't get to make that trip. So, you know, you're 30 minutes down the road in Detroit. My mom was always a place to be. Shout out to Mom, I appreciate you.
Yes, really,
yeah,
absolutely.
She had us right.
Does she follow you? She followed your career so much. She was always talking about you. And when you were, let's go back to 2005.
Oh man, don't
all
take
right?
me back.
We'll
I'm
get
40
into
now. I escaped that.
No, you're not escaping.
Okay.
Listen, you were, people that don't know, you were the 3rd overall pick in a draft.
Yeah.
You're 20-something. What goes through your mind? You've completed 4 years of college. You are going to be selected by the NFL the day before. What's going through your mind?
You're excited. You know, you're prepared for this. You know, in college, you want to come through there and you're like, hey, I know if I worked hard, I'm going to do my thing and I'll get a chance to make money. I'll get a chance to drive the cars I want. I'll get a chance to provide for my family. I'm excited. And so you're ready for it. I was ready. And then the week of the draft, it's just, you get nervous again. You get butterflies. You don't know if it's going to happen, where you're going to go. And you get nervous like your 5-year-old all over again. So it's nerve-wracking, but it's a beautiful process.
Did you know it was going to be Cleveland? That was, I mean, were you hoping you'd be 1? It doesn't make a difference?
No, I thought it was going to be 2 to Miami. Miami had talked the whole process. They brought their whole team up. This is when Nick Saban was the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. They brought their whole squad up. They brought Rick Spielman at the time, who was the GM. So I thought I was going to Miami. Never talked to Cleveland. So I didn't think about the team down the street. And lo and behold, Miami they take Ronnie Brown on draft day.
Were you disappointed?
I was, but it taught me about politics. It taught me about politics because teams like to point false things out there. So just like now, people are trying to come up and get the Texans #2 pick or the Arizona Cardinals #3 pick. People throw smoke signals out there.
But see, it's always, I don't understand this draft. You're the star player in college, the best, arguably. Well, you were up there.
I appreciate it.
But you go to one of the worst teams because the worst teams pick first. It just doesn't make sense to me. Does that go through your mind at all?
It sucks. Like the process, I'm not gonna lie, the process sucks. Cleveland is not where you necessarily want to go starting a career. Basketball a little bit better. You get the balls, the lottery. You can kind of see where you might go. You have a chance to go somewhere better.
Should they change that draft?
I think so because of the way in which some teams try to tank to achieve that pick. If you purposely tank on the season to get a pick, that means you didn't try. I don't think you should be rewarded with getting the #1 pick in the draft.
Do you think NFL teams tank so they can get a better draft pick?
We all know they tank at times, 100%. Whether they do it organically, like signing Baker Mayfield to be the starting quarterback down in Tampa, or they don't do it organically, teams tank.
Should the NFL go with a lottery system?
They should. I definitely think they should. That way you hold teams accountable. You make teams fight all the way through to the end, as opposed to play. You start sitting your best players and they're really not hurt.
You made more money just about. I think it was one other year you did a little bit better. You made a lot of money at 20-something years old. Are you ready to handle the millions of dollars that you got as a 22, I think?
22 on the dot. If you have a great system in play, I had my mom, my dad, my stepmom, my stepdad. I had people around me. I had a good financial system. I had a good financial managing system. But you're still going to make dumb decisions. You're still going to do dumb things. And this is with the best team in place. A lot of guys don't have near what I was able to have at 22.
Listen, Jameson Williams, he was a first round. He didn't go 3, but he was first round.
He went 12. That's big.
That's 12's pretty good. That's all right. Wait a minute. Well, let's just get Jameson real quick over here. Got suspended for 6 games for gambling at the Lions Allen Park practice. Is that dumb or what?
I think you got to break down the situation for what it is. And the thing is, it's a dumb thing to do if that is the rule. The problem is they're very non-specific on the rule. You got to provide.
Should he have been given 6 games?
No, I don't think so. And the reason why is 1, betting is legal. 2, he bet on something that wasn't the NFL. Not the Detroit Lions, it wasn't the NFL as well. He was betting on a completely different sport. And another thing is, where was he making this bet at? Was he making the bet in the parking lot? Are you mad at Jameson Williams for betting on the Alabama Crimson Tide when he's in the parking lot of Allen Park? Come on, Charlie.
I'm just saying. I don't know, but does it mess up the Lions, though?
I don't think it messes up the Lions. And people are talking about Jameson and wanting to put more onus on him and being mad at him. Listen, don't be mad at Jameson Williams because Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes drafted him at 12 and he was injured. A lot of people were mad at that. You got to relax, he'll be fine.
Is he cocky, though? He must know the rules, even if he's in the parking lot.
Now, 100%. I think the NFL needs to be clear on the rules because this isn't even something that they put in recently. The rule of not betting at the facility, this is an old rule that was in place when I was there. Basically, card games, shooting dice, exchanging cash on the scene. This rule goes back to that. This isn't even a newer rule about sports betting.
They didn't have sports bet. They didn't have when you were starting out. Now they do. In fact, the NFL they own part of this, I think.
100%.
And
They're
so
in bed.
aren't they encouraging players to bet on some of these fan duels and that type of thing?
It's around their faces, but this is where I'll push back and say the player has to be smart. Look, the player has to take care of business because Jameson Williams stands to lose $332,000 for making a bet that was probably to win $5,000. So they got to change the rules. He's
betting that much, huh?
He's $5,000, man. But his contract.
Were you cocky when you got that contract? Listen, it was millions.
Yes.
You were cocky.
100%. You have to be, though. Because how did Jameson Williams get to Alabama? How did he get to be a player that Brad Holmes would think to trade up 20 spots to get Charlie? You got to have that confidence.
I want to go back a different thing. I got to ask you. There was a guy in your round, I believe he was drafted in your round. A guy named Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers was drafted in my class. Yeah.
Now you played against him. You knew him.
Yeah. Here's a funny story. So every year, the draft does commercials. They'll do commercials, and the commercials are to lead up to the draft. Our theme was the stock exchange. So we get to New York. I'm with Alex Smith, and we're checking in a hotel. And I knew Alex Smith already from preseason All-American stuff. We're hanging out, we're kicking it. Aaron Rodgers walks into the hotel. He walks to the front desk where we're walking away from, and he introduces himself to Alex first, and then me. How you doing? How you doing? Aaron Rodgers, #1 pick in the draft.
Ooh.
I swear, I put it on everything. This is how he introduces himself to Alex Smith and I.
But he wasn't.
This is in March, but this is before the draft.
He didn't know who you were.
He knew who we were. That's why he introduced himself as such.
He was super cocky.
He thought he was going to be #1 pick in the draft.
Listen, the guy's playing today. Well, I don't know what his contract was. He's making lots of money.
$51 million.
Oh, you happen to know that?
Yeah.
Same age as you. Could you play today?
Nah, not at the level that he's playing right now, man. I had a couple knee surgeries, which is why I stopped. Would you want to play? I would if everything worked out and I didn't have those knee surgeries and I was able to maintain like a high quality of life as well as health. I definitely would still play, but it didn't work out that way. But it worked out for him. I mean, he's had a damn good career, and I think he got the last laugh.
How many times did you play him in your career?
4.
What happened? Who won?
2-2.
Oh!
2-2. Hey, that's not bad. That's not bad. Ben Roethlisberger, not so much. Not so much.
Who's the best quarterback you ever saw?
Oh, Tom Brady.
No question.
Tom Brady.
What? And he was in what round was he?
Tom Brady, 6th round. 6th round. But it's how that thing played out. If Lloyd didn't have to play Drew Henson, then Tom Brady would have been a 1st-round quarterback.
All right, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. Final thoughts. Braylon Edwards. Don't go away. Back. Final thoughts. Braylon Edwards. All right, we've got 4 sports teams in Detroit. We've got the Lions, the Pistons, the Tigers, the Red Wings. Of those 4, which one will win the World Series, Super Bowl, etc.?
Right. Detroit Lions will win first, then probably the Red Wings, and then the Tigers, and then the Pistons.
When will the Lions win?
The Lions is first.
No, right, like maybe next year?
Lions have a chance to win this year. You know, you look at the NFL now, you look at the Cincinnati Bengals, you look at what the Eagles did last year and stacking the team. I think Brad Holmes, the mad scientist, he's put a really good team together, and based on this draft, you're looking at a team that has a chance. The NFC is open, so all you gotta do is get there, right, Charlie?
That's all you gotta do there. All right, last question. Lions, draft. Who are they gonna pick?
Christian Gonzalez at 6. Christian Gonzalez is a defensive back out of Oregon. I think they'll pick him 6. They don't have but one player on a more than 1 year contract for a DB.
Last question. Detroit's got it. We're going to have the draft in Detroit. How big is that?
It's huge. It's major. Outside of the Super Bowl, shout out to Ryan and Marty for saying this, it's the 2nd largest event that you can have in your city. It's the Super Bowl. Get ready. Braylon Edwards, we got to get you back over here. You're a lot of fun. I'm ready whenever.
And say hi to your mother. I'll say hi to her. Lisa, hello. A reminder, you can watch the draft coverage live tomorrow night, 10:30, right here on Fox 2. And that does it for this edition of Let It Rip.